Hi, good people. Hi, TIs. It's Sherry, and I am here with some free and valuable information for you. Information that is going to help you benefit yourselves as well as each other. And today, well, just a little background. Here on my channel, I do research and review on various topics. I also share stories on various topics. Let's see. So these are my opinions. And this is just some general common knowledge, but the information that I share is beneficial for us, for all of us, and for you to help yourselves as well as each other. So please join me. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell in the right-hand corner. And what that does is that notifies you when the content that you're subscribed to, when that person releases a new video. So it's a nice way to know and to organize your viewing content. Okay, you don't have to watch the videos right away. You can always save them to watch later, or don't watch a particular one. Well, whatever. It's just a way to kind of control your content. All right. So so yes, today. Oh, and I post every Tuesdays. So happy Tuesday. And this Tuesday, this is going to be part 2 of the video, The Slaps of Life, and what we can learn from them. Okay, I did a part 1. With the slaps of life, we wanted to talk about 3 major things. The one, who is getting slapped and doing the slapping of this slaps of life. Of course, we're talking about the Oscar award show, and it kind of started there. The conversation started there. So we're just gonna, follow up with that and see how we can learn from this situation. So my last video, I talked about the who. This video, I'll be digging in a little bit and talking about the whys. Why of the behavior. Why do people slap each other? Why do people get slapped? Why? That's always the question, right? Well, I've done a lot of research. I've read a lot of books on this by, professionals in the field, psychiatrists, psychologists. I've looked at a lot of content, documentaries, videos, podcasts. I've read a lot of books. Okay, my whole Kindle library is full of self-help and books on this kind of thing. And then I've also read a lot of Bible scriptures and Bible stories. Can always read more. There's always more to read, but that talked about this kind of behavior. Basically it's bullying. Slapping is a form of, bullying, dominance, that kind of thing. So, and even the animal kingdom does that. Okay. And there's some interesting examples in the animal kingdom for sure. So if you would like, please join me here and we will do part 2 of the video, Slaps of Life. And this time we will be talking about the whys of the whole situation. Why do people slap and get slapped? Okay. All right. Well, to start off with, okay, the slap that happened at the Oscar Award show. So you guys know about the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation. We did I did a response video on that. I'm sure you guys have all heard about it by now. It was a hot topic trending for the past couple weeks since the Oscar award show. So again, with the Oscars, you guys have to understand that Oscars is very much a ritual type of thing. The whole Hollywood is really a lot of ritual, esoteric kind of things being played out. Okay, so ritual, I'll just describe the definition for you, okay? Ritual is a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. Okay, so a ritual. Rituals can be positive, negative, right? We do rituals like with childbirth, with baby showers. Those are, ritual type of thing, or rites of passage. I guess you can, graduations, marriages, all that kind of stuff. So those rituals, I think in the Bible, when they talked about they had to do certain rituals before they would, set up the altar and everything for sacrifice and for worship and all that. So there's a lot of meaning to award shows. Okay, more than what you would think. You're not just being entertained. You're being there's an undertone to it. Okay, so now April is a very highly occultic month. Okay, April, the word in Latin and in Spanish means to open. Okay, and a lot of times you'll see the symbolisms of eggs and rabbits and everything. That doesn't have anything to do with the Passover, Jesus and the Israelites and everything, and being delivered from Pharaoh and the Egyptians. It actually is more of a fertility type of a fertility type of energy, okay? Fertility rites. So, that against the eggs and the rabbits and everything. So April is a big month, opening the womb. Spring is, everything is blooming. The flowers are budding. Animals are giving birth. Humans are, a lot of times, are giving birth, okay? So it's fertility, all about fertility. Okay, and we talked about before, it was really interesting about we all can give birth even to our creative ideas. There's seeds within us, even men. It's not a literal birth, and but we create things, okay? We birth them, as it were, right? This video took a lot of labor to get this out, so I hope you guys benefit from this, okay? So yeah, April, super high energy month. There's a lot of energy is being harvested. Okay, both good and bad. The spirit world is involved in this. How can it not be, right? Everything, the human world, whenever there's stuff going on in the spiritual world, it transfers to the, obviously, to humankind as well. All right. So knowing that, April, fertility, birth and rebirth, Hollywood being very Freemasonic, and they don't hide it. You got to give them credit, they're not trying to hide it. It's right there. If you have eyes, you can see. If so kudos to them. They're not hiding it. Wonderful. Just got to break it down a little bit more, and you have to do that yourselves. Okay. Hence, all right. So being that as it may, with April and the award show and everything, there was, what I believe to be was a humiliation ritual. Basically, two actors, high profile, Will Smith and Chris Rock. Chris Rock is more of a comedian than an actor, but he's also played in movies too. So I guess he is an actor, just maybe not an A-list. But Will Smith is very much an A-list actor. He's done movies I, Robot, I Am Legend, Enemy of the State. Wonderful movie, by the way, that was on this weekend. If you guys have never seen that, it's a great movie. Okay, it talks about when it covers some great topics, okay? That's an oldie but goodie with Will Smith. All right. So yeah, high profile actor. Long story short, Chris Rock offended Will Smith's wife, said something insulting. Will Smith got up and slapped him. Okay, a literal slap, not a proverbial, because we're talking about the slaps of life and the wise. There's also proverbial slaps that you can do with your tongue, with your mouth, with your speech. You can slap somebody down, right? Bring them down a peg, hurt their feelings, with all verbally. Okay, so with them, though, that's what happened. They got through it. Chris Rock's comedy tour, by the way, is called Ego Death. Kind of, it's all kind of linked in together. So yeah, okay. So that story. Okay. Now, it's interesting because you wonder why would these people, why do people do that? And it's not just celebrities. We talked about that in the other video. It's families, mothers with daughters, fathers with daughters, mothers with sons, fathers with daughters, cousins, siblings, uncles, aunts, nieces, just people slapping, right? Not just literally somebody walks up and not always that. It can be verbally slandering somebody's name, verbally slapping them. That's what it is. It's a slap. Okay. So this happens in families, within friend circles, and on higher levels with celebrities, with nations, right? With leaders. It happens. Okay. So again, why? Well, for one thing, the spirit realm, okay, and maybe obviously not the good ones, but the bad ones, like to see humans. I think it's humorous to them to see humans kind of fighting with each other, instead of a normal, like a good angel would probably be like, oh, hey, that's not funny. They're going to hurt each other. But I think the demons get a kick out of it. And there's scriptures in the Bible that refer to that they're very blood lusting, and they're very, they love blood sport. They're mean. They're mean. So you can imagine slapping verbally or physically is hurtful. It's negative energy, right? Negative. Because somebody's hurt, you just slapped somebody, they're hurt. Somebody just slapped you, you're hurt. You slapped them, even if you feel good, you're still hurt because that's not how you're supposed to act. Well, normal people, normal good people, okay, or good-hearted people. Some people, you're right, actually get a kick out of it, but that's a rarity. The truly wicked is a very rare thing. Most people are not, okay? So let's go with that. 99 are not. We're not going to worry about, well, hopefully that one that is turns from their ways. The 1%, I'm saying out of a group of people, if you get what I'm saying, it's out of the norm. Most people feel bad, is my point. All right. So some examples. Well, the whys of it, so you understand that there's energy behind this. Okay. I also wanted to hold on a second, because we're not going to start this video over. I have my notes here, and we're going to discuss them just like we want to, okay? Okay. I wanted to point out that also there's a lot of, in our entertainment, there's a lot of media that kind of promotes, you know, slapping, as it were, you know, like shows, reality shows, Bad Girls Club. You guys remember that? They were fighting. The housewives, they were always fighting. What was that one? Jersey Shore, Mob Wives. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they were always fighting, you know, like verbally. That was a good episode, right? When quote unquote good episode when somebody slapped somebody. That probably had the highest ratings that we, you know. So you understand how as a society and how as people we can get drawn to that, you know, Jersey Shore, Top Model, even RuPaul's Drag Race. You know, not always physical slaps, proverbial too, okay? So why, again, do humans do this? Well, for one thing, I'm going to read a scripture here. It's in Ecclesiastes 8:9, if you want to follow along. All right, I'm just going to pull it up here real quick. Okay, so you're not just taking my word on this. Otherwise it's just me. Who am I to be, you know, you want to hear the Bible's advice. So, okay, Ecclesiastes, okay, and again, this is chapter 8, verse 9. Okay, and it says here that, this is Solomon talking. He says, all this I saw as I applied my mind to everything done under the sun. There is a time when a man lords it over others to his own hurt. You catch that? There's always different interpretation or different translations, but it's the same idea. So the key sentence here is, there is a time when a man lords it over others to his own hurt. To whose own hurt? The other guy? No, the guy who's doing it. He's lording it over others to his, and there's other translations that say man will dominate man to his own injury, right? So he'll, you know, he's hurting himself. When you dominate, you're hurting others and you're hurting yourself, you know, because that's a sinful behavior to want to dominate. Okay, that means you're wanting to be the boss. You want to be top dog, right? And not in a gentle way usually, right? Excuse me. Let me grab something here. Okay, got it. My other note cards, so we're on track. So yeah. So humans will dominate each other. And that was prophesied in the Bible early on. King Solomon realized that. Remember, King Solomon was one of the wisest kings, or the wisest king that ever lived, right? King David's son. He took over the throne after King David died. Okay, so he said it right there. You hear it from the wisest man. Okay, so man will dominate man. Okay, man will lord things over another man, and it means mankind, not just men. Because as we know, men will try to dominate men, men will try to dominate women, women will try to dominate men, women will try to dominate women. It means mankind as a collective noun. Okay, so yeah, domination, slapping, bullying, it happens to the best of us. You know, I gave you guys some personal examples in the previous video. You know, when we talked about who's doing this, everybody. You know, so please don't, oh no, I've never slapped, or you've maybe never physically slapped or gotten slapped, hopefully not, but you've definitely given and received verbal slaps. Oh yeah, we all have. If you're human and, you know, you walk this earth, you have definitely delivered some slaps and received some. So it's hurtful, you know. You know, sometimes it's just our ego gets bruised. Sometimes, you know, it can be more severe. You know, it can really hurt our feelings. It can give you a complex, right? About whatever, A through Z. You know, somebody tease you about something or say, you know, give you a complex, make you feel bad about yourself, affect your self-image of yourself. And we're all made in God's image, so, you know. But you know how humans are. Dominate. Man will dominate man. Okay, sometimes it makes us lose face. We talked about in the other video, you know, all those slapping moments, those bullying moments. You know, I know my own, they really humiliate you. You know, you really feel a sense of humiliation. You get through it, but it hurts at the time, you know. And it's embarrassing, you know, just to feel cowardly. And we all have, you know, or to feel, you know, to feel like you've been one-upped. It hurts, you know, especially when it's done purposely. Somebody dominated you. It's sinful, okay? So we're very much like animals in that aspect, but we're not. We're humans. We're made in God's image. So we have the ability with practice. That's why we're doing this video, so we can find out what are the solutions and why. Before we can get to the solutions, we got to know why. Why is this behavior happening? Why are people slapping each other? Animals too. Why are they quote unquote slapping each other or biting, as it were, right? Why are they doing this? Why don't they just all get along and help each other and live happily ever after? Why don't humans do that? Well, a lot of it starts at the playground politics. Again, I've done research. I've read a lot of books. So I've read researchers actually did the work, and got case studies and went in the field and recorded all the data and everything. And they wrote books on it. And I've read those books, lots of them. And so I'm paraphrasing the information that I learned. So a lot of this starts at the playground with kids. You'll see it with kids, right? Usually on the playground, you'll have the cool kids. You'll have kind of the, people who aren't. You got somebody, that gets bullied, and usually, here's the funny part, what I always thought, the one that usually bullies you, okay, the muscle of the group that actually, comes up and bullies you, is not always the same one that started the bullying. You hear me, you guys? So you're always thinking that the one in your face, is the one that's the bully. Not always. I mean, they are a bully, but they're not the main bully. They wouldn't have come up to you and bullied you if somebody else hadn't instigated it. Okay? So that's the real bully. And they're the smart bully because they keep their hands clean. They don't get slapped, as it were, right? They don't get slapped because they sit back. That's also called the cat's paw. Remember that story about the monkey and the cat, and there was a chestnut in the fire, and the monkey was smart, so he told the cat to get it. The cat's like, no, I'll burn my paw. The monkey's like, oh no, you're so agile and athletic, and you just get it, and then I'll open it for us, and we'll feast together. The cat, well, yeah, you know what? I am athletic, I am agile. Sure, I'll get it for us, and we'll feast. So he goes to get it, burns his paw in the fire. The monkey grabs it, runs up into a tree, cracks it open, eats it all by himself, doesn't share anything with the cat. So the poor cat did all the work, burnt his paw, and the monkey took the spoils. Cat's paw. Okay? Don't be a cat's paw. Don't let the real bully hype you up to go bully somebody else or do something that, they have a problem with some person, so now they want you to have a problem with some person. Playground politics. So everything is not always as it seems. Okay, this is why we're breaking it down. I learned these things, Some of it's common knowledge, but some of it you have to go over and get the data on it, okay? So yeah, so the bully has a goon squad usually, the real bully. And that's the ones getting their hands dirty. That's the ones doing the slapping. But it's not them that came up with it. So just in bullying situation, remember that. Oh, and then there's always the crowd that hypes it up, right, and joins in. Has nothing to do with it, but they want to take a side for whatever reason. Yeah, they're bored or they're, have their own issues. And playground politics. That's where it starts. Also, too, you even see this in the animal kingdom. There's reasons for dominance. Okay. Sometimes it's for things like, defending your honor, okay, from somebody's disrespect or somebody wanted to take something, even in the Bible times, those men and women had to go to war, the men had to go to war and everything, right? Just like nowadays, they had to protect their property, their family, their resources, okay? And then in the Bible too, there's examples, and even nowadays, reasons why for slapping, for bullying, misplaced anger. Some kid is bullied at home by his siblings or his parents, goes to school and bullies some other kids, right? Okay, that happens. That's not right, but that happens. Lack of coping skills, they don't know, you get somebody doesn't know how to, use soft skills, soft approach, gentle, we're not taught, then they'll use dominance, okay? Remember I talked about, there's certain members of my family that are really loud, and for years we're like, wow, are they hard of hearing? And then we actually just realized, no, they're just trying to be dominant with their voices. Hello, it's going to be, to each his own. I'm just saying it's a sign of dominance, and when that's a hard title to carry, just saying. But, we learn habits from we learn them from generation to generation, right? There must have been a loud talker way, way, way back in the gene pool, and that trait has carried on, right? And some people just have naturally loud, booming voices, sometimes. But then to kind of tone it down, so you don't come across as dominant, right? if you want to get along. All right. So what else? But we all have our problems, right? Okay. And I have plenty. So, all right. So anyways, anger, why people dominate, right? Anger, you know, some people are just angry. Okay. Hurt too. When people are in pain, they will lash out more. For instance, dogs, I've noticed you got to be so careful with dogs. If your dog gets an ear infection or somebody else's dog and you go to pet them, if they don't realize it, they could growl at you because you just hurt them. They have a horrible ear infection and you didn't know it. Our first instinct is to pet a dog's head, and their ears are usually right there, so you're petting their, and you could get bit, and not the dog's fault, not your fault. So be careful. Dog's ears, again, they're hurt. Or same thing with a human, somebody could have just gotten into an argument with their spouse or something. Now they come to work or they come to the family event and they're upset, and then you say something, oh, hey, this lemon is a little sour. What do you mean? Or whatever, these lemon bars or this, that, the other, And so, again, that would be misplaced anger. Okay, you guys get it. You guys get these reasons, right? Disrespect, right? If somebody feels disrespected, that's why we got to watch this tongue. You never know. You could say something. So you could say, oh, you don't like people with green hair. Nobody in the room you're talking about has green hair, But guess what? Their husband could have green hair. I'm using green hair as an example, Their daughter could have green hair. Their grandparent, their best friend has green hair. Now you've just offended them. Okay? Now you might get a verbal slap. Maybe even a physical one. No, usually just, a lot of times it's just verbal. But still, that's bad enough, right? Because energy, it's making more negative energy in the world. Okay. Another thing for why people are dominant is hierarchy. To establish hierarchies, right? To maintain hierarchies. Hey, I'm the top dog here. I get the land that overlooks the lake, right? You get the land down in the pit. Down in the valley, right? You get all the sandy land that's not fertile. We get the land with the trees and the oceans and the lakes. This is ours. That's yours. Ours, yours. We'll fight you for it. Dominance, okay? Hierarchy, establishing it, maintaining it, defending it, defining it, right? Maintaining order. Hey, our family's been dominant for years and we want to stay. We like it and we're going to stay here. We're top dogs. We're going to stay top dogs. Okay, so, and there's all different roles in the hierarchy, in the research, they talked a lot about animals, okay, and they studied animals, particularly monkeys and dogs, and that was fascinating to me, because they talked about in the hierarchy, there's always a leading people or animals, so that'd be the king and queens, then you have like their affiliates, that would be like the aristocrat, the aristocracy, okay? And so you have them, which are the friends of the kings and the queens, and then you have like the guardsmen, okay, the goon squad, the muscle, like the military, right? The cat's paw, those are the ones that the king and queens aren't going to fight you. They're not going to get their hands dirty, right? But they hire the goon squad. That's second in command. That's who's going to come for you, okay? So again, try to always remember how these politics play out, okay? This is why people will dominate people. All right, so also too, that comes money, bribes, that goes for resources, that's one of the ways cat's paws are used, the higher ups will bribe the goon squads. A lot of time these goon squad people, they don't, even on a lower level, like in school, they don't want to come tease you, but if they don't, then they get risked, getting, booted or whatever, becoming a bullied in the hierarchy. So then they'll gladly come bully you. Okay. Or maybe they want to increase their place in the hierarchy. Maybe they got something to prove. And by bullying you, slapping you verbally or, literally, they can get, brownie points, right? Gangs do it all the time. Gangs, organized crime, everybody. You guys get it, right? So, but again, the real power is behind the one who is actually instigating the whole thing. All right. Programs for bullying. This is part of dominance, okay? Do you know there's actual programs in most nations, many nations, they're bullying programs, but of course they're not called that. They go under different names. Germany had the Zertezung, okay? That was Zertezung in German means to decompose. Okay, so to decompose a human, to mess them up, to break them down from the inside out, their family, I mean, everything, just destroy them, decompose them without touching them, without laying a finger, mess up their name, tell the community they're this, they're that, make everybody hate them, make their church hate them. They can't even go to church for help, you know? Can't even go see a priest or a pastor or an elder, you know, for help because their name has been slandered so bad, you know? Make their life, break it down, okay? That's also, you know, that's because why? Because a lot of times these people, you know, at least we'll use the Germany reference, a lot of them were deemed enemies. By whom? By the place that they lived, you know, like the movie Enemy of the State, right? Could be state, could be whatever. But if you guys remember in the movie, that was interesting because Will Smith's character, whatever his name was, Robert or something, John. Anyways, he became an enemy of the state, and he had this politician after him wanting to kill him, destroying his life, okay, trying to have him set up for murder and trying to, you know, mess with his finances and mess with his family, had his wife hating his guts, you know, almost destroyed everything. And it wasn't even, Will Smith wasn't even guilty of what the guy thought. The guy thought he had a tape of him. Well, there was okay, so the story, the movie, there's a man, okay, there's a politician played by John Voight, and he commits a murder. He murders another politician because of some law, okay, something about surveillance, okay. And so one of the guys, he's like Will Smith's friend from college. He's some type of like scientist recorder. He puts cameras up to record nature. Well, his camera caught the footage of this politician killing this other politician, and he doesn't know what to do with it. He's like, oh, I just witnessed a murder. And he knows that Will Smith's character, whom he went to college with, is an attorney, a lawyer. So he brings it to him. But Will Smith doesn't know what's in there. He doesn't talk to him because they're chasing this guy. They found out that this guy had the camera, and they're chasing him to kill him, which they do. But before they can get to him, he finds Will Smith shopping in the store, and he drops the tape into his bag, into Will Smith's character's bag. Now, Will Smith's character at this point doesn't even know that was dropped into his bag, and doesn't even know what happened. Like, he's just shopping for Christmas presents for his wife, you know, at the time, you know, as the movie plays out. So it wasn't even his fault. Like, and if you watch the movie, this is what came out to me. I watched it the other day, and this became so much clearer. If you notice, okay, so when you're labeled like an enemy of the state, God help you, because governments have access to lots of power. Now, there's two types of power. Remember I said the goon squad? Okay, so picture the higher ups, then their affiliates. So like politicians would be the affiliates. They're not the highest up, but they're close to them. They're their friends, okay? They can get favors done. All right. So then the goon squad people would be like in this movie, okay, were the computer guys. So the technology people, very important people, especially nowadays. And then the second set of people were the special ops guys. Those are military guys. Okay, military people, private military contractors. So they've been trained. They've been trained to kill. They've been trained to surveillance. You know, everything you would do overseas to the enemy, right? To do warfare, spy on people, right? Espionage, you know, surveillance, do this, do that, break in, set up, you know, all that. That would be special ops, okay? Special operations, who, you know, so in this case with Will Smith's character, what I was trying to say was the politician guy was ready to let the situation go. He said he probably doesn't even know. Let's just break in when he's not there, get the tape, and let's leave this alone. And then one of the guys, I think it was it was one of the computer guys, speaks up, and he goes, no, I'm paraphrasing. No, he might know. We better check this out. And at that point in the movie, it's a pivotal point because, you know, he just basically like let it all loose. We're gonna go full force on this Will Smith guy, the character, and we're gonna bring him down, you know. And it was so sad, it was so telling, because when you think about it and you watch the movie, the reason he was doing that was because it was job security. It was more work, more hours, more money. Yeah, for stalking and harassing Will Smith's character, labeling him an enemy of the state. And he didn't even know what was going on. If they would have just broken in and gotten the tape, they would have, oh, actually, you know what? In the movie, I take that back. They did break in and try to get the tape, but because it was in the bag with Christmas presents, his son, Will Smith's younger son, ended up getting the bag and bringing it over to his friend's house and trying to watch the videos on a little hand. You know, this movie's 20 years old, so it was a little handheld, looked like a Game Boy. But they, you know, the boys couldn't, they weren't able to see the footage, thank God. But for that reason, Will Smith was telling the guy, I don't have the tape. You know, when they finally got a hold of him, you know, you got our tape. We want it back and we'll blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't have it. And anyways, yeah. But I remember that the politician guy was almost ready to let the whole situation go. You know, this guy doesn't know what's going on, you know. And then the one guy wanted the job so bad because more money for him, right? He was like, he was one of the technician guys, the IT. So he was going to get paid if, you know, obviously when they had to, and he did. He was one of the main guys on Will Smith's, you know, when they were harassing him and stalking him. You should watch the movie, guys. You know, I mean, they put trackers and everything in his shoes and his pants. They replaced his items like his pen and his watch. And, you know, if you think about it, these are things you would never notice. And they put little trackers in them, you know, little devices, you know, so that they could keep an eye on them at all times. And he didn't even know, like, who double checks their pen, who double checks their watch, you know, and these are your everyday items. And they were so skilled at it. It's very interesting. And so, yeah, so poor Will Smith. And it actually happens in real life. If you are labeled a targeted person or by whomever, especially if it's higher up, it could be local, it could be within your city or your county, okay? Which usually that would be where it starts. You know, it doesn't start federal, right? They got their own things. They're more worried about, you know, they do stuff like that, but it's, you know, usually it's somebody within your, you know, that would know you to get you on a list, okay? And there is a list. FBI used to call it the COINTELPRO program. It was a counterintelligence program. So if you were labeled a person of interest, guess what? You were going to get stalked to the high heavens by the, you know, there are programs for it. So, and then they have names. These programs have names, you know, and that one was called COINTELPRO. So counterintelligence, okay, program. So yeah, I mean, and these are things that happen, and that's a form of dominance, right? Because the one guy, he, like in that movie, we'll just use the fictional, you know, situation. The one guy probably knew, if you look at his, you know, the actor's face, and they played it off so well. That scene is wonderful. You can look at it, you can see him pause, and you can see he knows that the politician guy is worried. So instead of like calming him down, yeah, you're right, he probably doesn't have it, and just letting it go, letting poor Will Smith, you know, just dropping it, he hypes the situation up more just so he can have more hours and a job. Doesn't care to destroy another guy's life. And this guy was innocent, you know, Will Smith's character. He was married, he had a wife and kid, you know, he was a lawyer. Yeah, fascinating. You know what was the best part of the movie, though? You guys got to watch it if you haven't. The best part of the movie was at the end when it was perfect. Will Smith was able to play the cat's paw. So he had the politician guy hash it out with the mobster, with a mob guy. So you have organized crime and you have government on one end, right? You know, two sides of it. Anyways, it was funny. It was, I don't know if it's just fascinating because you got to see two bullies fighting instead of the poor guy in the middle, right? Cat's paw. Instead of them being able to use Will Smith as the cat paw, he used them as the cat's paw against each other. And it was awesome. It was awesome. It was two bad guys going after each other. Loved it. Loved it. Okay, where does that leave us? Just saying, okay? We're talking about the whys, dominance. This is people dominating people, you know? It's frustrating. It's done for, you know, like I said, resources, hierarchies, establishing, maintaining, like, and if we use that fictional character in the Enemy of the State movie, maybe he was trying to, you know, move up in the ranks, right? Maybe if he got more assignments and more this or more that, it would move him up in the ranks, right? So he could get more money, a better paying job. But at the cost of what? At the cost of ruining Will Smith's character's life. All money is not good money. And the guy was, you know, I wish they would have gotten into that back character more. They could do a whole nother movie and do a follow-up because that character did survive. The grimy IT guy. I think he was played by Seth Green, which has some interesting He's done interesting movies and whatnot. But yeah, I'd be interested. They could do a whole part, you know, like a spin-off of that movie and do it on, and do a follow-up on the characters, whatever happened with them, you know? So, but yeah, and that you can imagine that happens in real life. People will put your head on the chopping block for no reason other than to gain benefits from it. Okay, and that's a form of dominating, right? Man will dominate man to his own injury. Okay, not everybody. There's good people and we all have good in us. But we're all, it's good to understand this behavior because we're all susceptible to it. Okay, at any times, you know, it's in our nature. We have to fight it. Okay, so I'd like to talk about some Bible scriptures. We'll close off with some Bible scriptures, okay? Let's see, there's 6 of them here. So, but real quick, okay? We'll talk about Proverbs. There's 3 in Proverbs. Yeah, 3. We're actually going to cover 3 scriptures, okay? Then we'll be done. 3, and they're all in Proverbs. Okay, so let's see here. Proverbs 6:19. That's the first one we're going to look at here. And this one talks about, it's talking about the 6 things that the true God hates. You know, haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes. That's Proverbs 18. Excuse me, Proverbs. Hang on a second. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I have them all. Okay. This is, excuse me, that one's important too, but this one is important. 18:21. And this is just saying that the tongue has the power of life and death. Okay? And those who love it will eat its fruit. So this is saying again how powerful the tongue is, you know, and why this relates to our topic on slapping and bullying is your tongue can get you into a lot of situations, you know, disrespect. Remember, we talked about the reasons for dominance. Sometimes it's uncalled for, but sometimes you can actually cause it, you know, with your mouth, right? You can instigate it. Sure you can. There's power of life and death in the tongue. Go mess with somebody, tease them verbally, the wrong person in the wrong environment. A lot of times we get away with it, but say it to the wrong person or the right person, maybe in the right environment, and see what happens. Oh yeah, I've seen it before in middle school. I seen and this was kind of sad because the girl who got hit was smaller. You know what? Not real small, but again, the other girl was bigger. A big Puerto Rican girl, solid. She was big. She was as big as me. I was kind of taller in middle school. Anyways, she let that girl have it. That girl crumbled to the floor. I don't know if that Puerto Rican chick practiced boxing or what at the local, because we had like a local community boxing center. I don't know if she went there for real, but because she hit real hard. That girl crumpled on the floor, humiliating, crying. You know, the security guard had to come tell the other girl to leave her alone. Power, but the big girl said that the other girl had been gossiping about her, which maybe she was. She didn't deny it, but boy, oh boy, see, power of life and death in the tongue. So that's Proverbs 18:21. Remember that, okay? Proverbs 15:1. You know, nowadays we depend a lot on the, you know, police and, you know, paramilitary to avoid fighting and stuff, but maybe there'll be a time when we don't have that option. You know what I mean? I mean, hopefully, God willing, that you know, that'll always be there. It will always be there, and if it goes away, it'll always come back. Of course, you can't run society without that, but maybe as a test thing, maybe they'll take it away at one point, right? Then what would you do? What would you do if there were no laws? Okay? There was no police to call. There was no sheriff's department to call if something happened. You'd have to really use your tongue in a wise way, wouldn't you? Yes. Okay, so what I'm saying, guys, we're kind of preparing for moving forward. Okay. What else? And I'm talking to myself too here. Proverbs 15:1. This is the second one. One more and then we're all done. Okay, so Proverbs 15:1. It says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." Okay, so a gentle answer can turn away wrath, right? But a harsh word stirs up anger. We all know this, right? Even with our parents, you say the wrong thing. Your parent says, "What?" You know to calm down right away. Oh, no, yeah, okay. Then they calm down, right? So, and same thing with other people. Just in general, you have to be gentle, right? Not, you don't have to. You could be rough, but that's not going to turn away wrath. Okay. A harsh word can stir up anger. So keeping that in mind, power of life and death in the tongue. So easy to say, so hard to do. It's almost like you can't talk, period. Just go on to talking fast. But for those of us with jobs where we have to, interact, that's kind of impossible, especially in certain careers, because it comes off maybe as rude or standoffish. So it's a balance, though. I guess keep it minimal. All right, last scripture. Here we go. Proverbs 6:18. This is the one. Okay, so a heart that devises wicked schemes. The first part of this scripture is Proverbs 6:16. It's talking about the 6 things that the true God hates. Haughty eyes. So haughty means like, oh, I'm the best of the best. Doing too much, I guess. Haughty, being haughty. Having haughty eyes, a lying tongue, a person, lying tongue. Hands that shed innocent blood, kind of like in that movie. That guy was ready, Will Smith's character was going to get killed because that guy wanted the assignment to have more money. Will Smith, he was going to, if Will Smith would have died, he would have shed innocent blood. Okay, so what else? A heart that devises wicked schemes. You know the type? A heart, not literal, but your figurative heart. Somebody that always wants to think of devising wicked schemes. Oh, here's this, like a scam. Scheme and scam are kind of close related. You ever know those people? They're always got a scam trying to go on, and it's not just lower class people. It's also people with money, always trying to scam and get something for nothing or just devising wicked schemes. That the true God detests that. Also, he detests feet that are quick to rush into evil. Okay. Also, a false witness who pours out lies and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. Okay, so that would be like these, somebody trying to stir up conflict, slandering your name. And people will go to great lengths. Yes, believe it, guys. It can happen. So how this relates to our situation, that's a form of dominance, this, especially the 6:18, a heart that devises wicked schemes. Sometimes with dominance and with with the slaps of life, it's somebody, usually it's a person with those kind of personality traits is what I was trying to bring out. Those kind of people are the type to get slapped, obviously, because they're behaving like that, or they're the type to slap, right? And that's a more I would say aggressive form of they're not just sitting back and they're actually making things happen, right? They've got, so imagine this kind of person. They got haughty eyes. They got a lying tongue, and it could be, a lot of us fall into this category. But I mean, as long as it's, you don't want to display these traits, right? Some people display them more than others. I guess that would be described as a clinical, if it's a lot of your personality. Look at what it says. It says, even the true God hates these things. He hates these things. He didn't say he hates, it says these things are detestable to him. 6 things so he's not saying he hates the people. Hate the sin, not the sinners. You guys get it? Just you don't want to demonize people, because at all times any of us can display these traits, given the day or certain time, or hanging with the wrong people, you start, lying or haughty eyes, I mean, just saying. But reason I brought that up for this particular point was that with slapping and getting slapped, these things would increase that likelihood. So if you see people with these that are displaying these traits, stay away from them. And if you start to display them, try to fix it. You don't need to be having haughty eyes. You don't need to be running around lying. You don't need to be devising wicked scams. Just work hard, do the best you can. You don't need to have feet that are quick to rush into evil. Them kind of people, the ones that want to run towards trouble rather than away. Let's go over to so-and-so's house. But they're always fighting and arguing over there. There's always drama. Yeah, let's go over there. Let's not. Right, guys? Let's not. And say we did. It's not even call them, right? Remember you had a friend circle, and then every once in a while you'd have like a drama friend that got in the circle. I'm talking about like in high school and whatnot. And it was always like something going on. And then your other, you'd get that one friend that always wanted to have that friend come along. Oh, let's go get such and such. No, the whole group. No, why? Because they're dangerous. Hello. Or it's unpleasant. And not, because of these reasons. And these things can be changed. So that's a good thing. Not to get too off topic, but these things can be changed. You know, you can change it if you're lying. You can change it if you're being too haughty, you know? You can change yourself if you're trying to always think of scams. You know, you can change yourself if you're trying to witness and pouring out lies, you know, or trying to stir up conflict in the community. You can change those things, okay? Because those are things we once were. When we're Christians, we get made new in Christ. Okay, but we'll discuss that next time. All right, but those things were important to bring out, you know. So we just talked about the whys. Why do people slap and get slapped? We talked about who, everybody. Now we just talked about the whys. Whys. Why? We covered it. Hierarchy. Even the animals do it. Oh, the animal kingdom. I said I would include, I'll include the link on this video about the monkeys. I just want to, I want to mention this real quick. We're running a long time with this, but here, I just want to tell you some things about the animal kingdom, okay? So with the hierarchies, right? There's this, there's plenty of videos on monkeys, okay? So monkeys live in troops, and they have the high-ranking female and the high-ranking male. So like the kings and the queens, right, of the monkey group. Then they have the affiliates, right? Like the politicians or their aristocracy of the monkey kingdom, right? You know, so those that sit right next to the king and queen, you know, King Louis is on the top and his wife, and then the ones that sit right next to him, okay? And then they groom each other and stuff. You know, you've seen monkeys. They're fascinating. They're really fascinating. And then you have like the lower levels, like the peasant monkeys, right? Just the whatever monkeys. Or no, then you have the strong monkeys too, that are like the fighter monkeys, right? The ones that are always first on the scene, okay? So you have all these little groups of monkeys, you know, all these little statuses, different, you know. So now they said about the hierarchy thing. Or should I make a whole this video is running long. Okay, we'll do a whole... There's only one more video. I wanted to do one on, I'm going to do it on solutions, okay? Because that's the important. We're talking about the who's, the whys, but we need the solutions, okay? So that's going to be the next video. But I'll do a separate video on what I learned about bullying in the animal kingdom. And I'll also tell you stories about my family when they worked for dog daycares, because dogs can be dominant too. Animals, okay? Animals, humans, all of us. You know, that's why people end up getting bit, and it seems, you know, they're so hurt, and the dog's like, well, I didn't do anything, because that's how they do with each other. You know, they bite each other, and they have fur and stuff, so it's okay, you know. But with us, obviously, we have skin, so they bite us, and it really hurts, you know. Oh, especially a big dog, goodness gracious. But that's besides the point. I'm going to do a whole nother video on animal hierarchy and slaps of life within the animal kingdom, specifically monkeys and dogs. I'm going to show you what I learned, and I'll include the links about the monkey videos, because these monkeys, I keep talking about it, they're fascinating. And I'll tell you the story about the screaming monkey. You never want to be a screaming monkey. Then you won't